Alrighty guys, how's it going? Nurbo here. Cooch, I sent you over your card pack. Enjoy that. I still gotta find time to do that. I had time this whole weekend and I lazied about. I'm terrible. It's my first weekend home alone. The wife took the baby to her friend's house in Atlantic City, and they went to because she has a kid that's about the same age. He's like 2 years old. She's a year and 4 months, so very close. And they went to the zoo together, and she stayed there for the weekend. Oh, it was my first time home alone in like years. So it was nice. It was nice. I was planning to be all productive and get a bunch of things done, and all I did was play Destiny. So sad. But I'm here. I'm back. All right. I did prepare this stuff at least for the most part. I kind of messed up on the trailers, but that's okay because we got something special going on later on, so maybe we can kill time until everybody is ready to go. Really quick, we're gonna do news and trailers today, and then we're gonna jump into a Destiny 2 raid once the other 5 people come on, and that should be pretty fun. We actually have a ton of news this week, like a lot of news, like a crazy amount of news. So this should be pretty interesting. And with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's get our screen up here. So first thing we got, Sony. I really don't understand this economy, this generation, but Sony has quietly started to increase the price on its DualSense PS5 controllers by $5 at many retailers in the US. Wario64 on Twitter was the first to spot the price increase at Best Buy. It has since gone up at Target, GameStop, and Sony's own PlayStation Store. So they increased the price on the controller for some reason. This is like 4 years now since its release. I don't understand how these things are just getting more and more expensive when gas prices are getting lower. Like, gas prices tend to dictate a lot of these prices, so why? I don't understand. Following that up, we have some great news. A game that I really want to play too. Space Marine 2 saw a 24-hour peak concurrent player count of 225,690 players on Steam. The highest peak ever seen on a Warhammer 40k game on Valve's platform. So that's awesome. That game is, of course, doing phenomenally as expected. And I, for one, can't wait to get that game eventually when things get better. Following that up, Sony. Did I have a better article for this? I think I had a better article for this. Yeah, I had this and then I had that. So, Sony PlayStation 5 Pro has been announced. It will be coming out November 7th for the nice, very nice price of things continuing to go up at $699.99, basically $700. The PlayStation 5 Pro's key features are an upgraded GPU with PlayStation 5 Pro. They are upgraded to a GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 console and 28% faster memory. Overall, that enables up to a 45% rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. The next feature is advanced ray tracing. We've added even more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflections and refractions of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speed of the current PlayStation 5 console. And they also added AI-driven upscaling. We're also introducing PlayStation 5 Spectral Super Resolution, PSSR for short, an AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. It will include a 2 terabyte SSD as well, a DualSense wireless controller, and a copy of Astro's Playroom, pre-installed in every PlayStation 5 Pro. To be clear here, that's Astro's Playroom, not the newest one that just came out. PlayStation 5 Pro is available in a diskless That's right. No disk drive console with the option to purchase the currently available disk drive separately. It also does not include the vertical stand that you are seeing in that picture. So, yeah. I just don't know, man. It just, things are getting too expensive, and the PlayStation 5 plays games fine. There is an argument for wanting better. I want my pack. I sent it to you. You got your pack. I sent it. Following that up. Okay, we go to... No. Oh, did I not click the article? Let's see here. I might have moved it. Oh, it doesn't look like I clipped the article. Alright, that's fine. I will report on this without an article, unfortunately. It seems that Ubisoft, I reported on this a while ago, Ubisoft was shutting down server games, The Crew 2, some time ago. Basically, Europe, and it's always Europe. So, like, I got to really clap my hands to Europe. They really are helping to prevent a lot of this bad stuff that these companies are doing. But Europe went to, because Kuj1 is me. Yeah, I sent it to Kuj1. So that should be you. You should have it there. But Europe is always jumping on top of these things to stop preventing games that require, for example, Division. Once the servers are down, that game is gone forever. And a lot of the fan base for The Crew and Crew 2 got up in arms. They started a petition. It got pretty crazy. Well, Ubisoft has finally listened to its fan base and put out a statement that the Crew's Twitter or X account, stating that they can confirm an offline mode will be enabled for long-term access and on both titles, and to stay tuned for more information in the next few months. This is probably Ubisoft's very subtle and smart way, I guess you could say, of trying to make the fan base happy and possibly announcing a Crew 3, if I was to guess. So, yeah. That being said, we now go to the next bit of news, which is already on the screen here. Xbox is launching a new plan for its Xbox Game Pass. Game Pass Standard, essentially giving you 4 different options to choose from. PC Game Pass includes hundreds of games and access to new titles on day 1. Access to EA Play membership and Riot Games benefits and discounts up to 20% on many games. And then we have the bottom console tier of Game Pass Core, which comes with deals up to 50% off select titles. It's essentially your Xbox Gold, if you guys remember that from Xbox 360 days. So 50% on select titles, and you get a library of 25 high quality games that they choose for you every month, and no day 1 releases. Following that subscription to the next tier would be for console would be Game Pass Standard, the new one, which in addition to everything you're already getting on Core, you will get all the benefits from there. You will also get access to hundreds of games on the console, basically their whole library. However, there are still no day 1 game releases. So you'll get the whole library, you're just not going to get day 1 game releases. You'll have to wait till they eventually get added to the library. And then the final tier for the console is Game Pass Ultimate, which includes all the benefits of all the passes, including PC. So yes, that's the one that gets everything, both PC and console, and you also get day 1 releases there, and all the other benefits. Essentially, I think they're trying to split it up to people like myself who don't really play day one releases, and trying to get their money out of those people regardless. I think their bigger issue right now is still the fact that like console's really not worth buying. I hate to say it. Like I don't know the statistics on this, but I would imagine most people with the way that they have the setup now are probably mostly PC Game Pass players. I would just assume that, but I could be wrong. I have to look at actual statistics. Following that news, we got something interesting here. I thought this was just an interesting story, to be honest. This isn't so much news as it is a pretty interesting story. Seattle-based company Deepwell DTX biofeedback software development kit for games just received an FDA clearance for over-the-counter treatment for the reduction of stress and adjunctive treatment for high blood pressure. Essentially, the idea is to give developers the ability to make games that can help with pain, PTSD, epilepsy, which is weird, epilepsy, but because a lot of games give you epilepsy, sleep disorders, immune disorders, not sure what that is, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. Yeah, his kit, his development kit, has just gotten patent for that, or just got clearance from the FDA for that. You tell your doctor, this is his words, you tell your doctor that you're struggling with stress, and she sends you home with instructions to play video games every week. Even better, your health insurance is going to cover a subscription to the game service, and maybe even a VR set to play them on. Full disclosure, his kit is for VR specifically. Deepwell co-founder Ryan Douglas doesn't just think that the news is good for patients, but also for gamers and game developers. Introducing games to the world's trillions of dollars in healthcare spending can bring us back to the golden age of gaming, he says. Which is funny because I feel like we make more money in games nowadays than, I mean, yes, the umbrella's different because now there's a much higher expenses versus before, but there's definitely more money in gaming profits nowadays than back then. But hey, I'd have to look at actual analytics. Deepwell has demonstrated its technology to VR game in a VR game called Zengens, never heard of it, which it calls a mental health action shooter. Zengens isn't exactly a Call of Duty though. Its enemies are wraiths, and you're shooting them with a wizard's beam, not hot lead. It uses MetaQuest microphone to detect when the player is humming or chanting. When it picks up those meditative tones, which indicate that the player is exhaling, it sends an orb into the environment which releases wraiths to zap with your mental health wand. The basic idea is to get players into a relaxing, dopamine-rich flow state. Deepwell's next big regulatory ambition is to grant Medicare and Medicaid codes that provide monetary incentives for companies to develop. With our clearance right now, we have access to 70 million people through HSA. When the Medicaid and Medicare kicks in, we talk about another 144 million folks, and exactly the people who need it: seniors, low income, and low income families. So, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I thought this was a really, really interesting story. I also don't 100% agree with what this guy said or his idea. Remember, he's making a development kit where developers can make games. This is not saying that, hey, you need to take some stress out. Here's a subscription for you to buy Doom and go play Doom. That's not what's happening here. These are games specifically targeted to train your body to breathe a certain way and to, like, at the same time get your mind focused on that, because some people have a hard time meditating.
I've been waiting for this.
God damn it,
I'm about to make a name for myself, yeah.
I don't think you guys
It's not what you think it is,
Just make sure
Chad.
people know what happened here today.
It's not the pipe dream you think it is. So, he's also asking for developers to come and actually develop something. You know, no microtransactions, stuff like that is not going to be allowed on this type of thing. A simple game that whatever it is, where focuses on people's breathing, exercises, and so on to help them relieve stress, PTSD, stuff like that. It's a cool idea, but there's a key thing that he mentions in this article that the guy says that I'm a little like, I don't feel like this is for the right reasons. I feel like this guy did this because he's like, it's an industry that has a lot of money, the insurance companies. Man, these guys give money out to everything, even to like marijuana so people can de-stress. Maybe we can figure out some way to use games to do that too. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like this guy is looking for a way into the insurance business to like get that insurance money, because that's kind of like guaranteed money. And it seems like he's finding a way to do that with video games. So like, power to him. I don't know how amazing this is going to be or how good these games are actually going to be, but I'm open to the idea and I'd like to see what comes out of this. Yeah. It's really, really interesting story. I don't know how genuine all of this really is. I don't know how I feel about it. I need to see more. Exactly. 13 games, 13 graves. I just graved for 14. It's not a race, Chad. It's not a race. You gotta enjoy them. Enjoy them. Or your list won't make sense. Is he telling me more pre-orders can tell you? No, I don't think you're gonna want to pre-order these games. I'm not even sure you're gonna be able to play these games. Following that news, we have, where was I? Over here. GameStop. Financial results for the second quarter show a continuing decline. Who saw that coming? I did. For the company, with a 45% drop in sales year on year. Looking at its sales in more detail, purchases drop across the board down by 24.5% for hardware and accessories, 47.8% for software, and 17.7% for collectibles. As a result, this financial performance, GameStop is looking to close more stores, Reuters reported. The retailer reportedly said the outlets to shutter are currently being identified and that it's looking to shutter more stores than it did in the past few years. I hate to say this. I grew up on GameStop. GameStop was my baby. I had the magazine. I don't know if you know, the magazine's also been shut down. I had the magazine subscription and everything. I used to go in there all the times. It is sad to see this happen, but man, it's gonna happen. Just like Blockbuster eventually went away. I feel like stores like this will not survive ever. The more digital we become on things, the harder it is for something like this to survive. Like, I don't know if you noticed, it's hard enough for hobby shops to survive. And a lot of hobby shops, like I know someone who actually owns a hobby shop, and he flat out says like a huge chunk of his store is selling cards. Like, he survives mostly on selling card games, and having tournaments at his shop, because that makes people come by and buy more cards. It's like, you have to kind of have a setup where people can come in and be active in your store, in the sense of like a D&D campaign or a card game, or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is the kind of thing you need. You need like a hobby shop. I think like a video centric store is just not gonna survive in the current era. They're just gonna burn out. Stores like Best Buy are probably good examples of like what they probably should become. Because at least when you go to Best Buy, you're buying electronics in general, like TVs and DVRs or cameras or phones, you know what I mean, computers. But like, you go to these stores, it's only video games. It's too specific, and it's specific to a market that's all digital on top of it. Like, the overwhelming majority of people don't buy physical game copies anymore. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't see them surviving this. The fact that they haven't shut down yet is shocking. Because they're like, man, it's on 47% down? You know how huge that is? Like, I hope none of your pre-orders are with GameStop, Chad. You might never see those games. I'm just saying. I don't know if the GameStop will last long enough for the games to release at this rate. But yeah, I mean, it's an end of an era. It's sad, but that's just how it goes, man, as we evolve economy-wise and so on. So, yeah, it's not surprising. Next up, we have some very interesting Ubisoft news. A minority Ubisoft investor has written an open letter to Ubisoft board outlining their deep dissatisfaction with the current performance and strategic direction of the company, and threatening a full-blown coup against the Guillemot brothers, who are the current CEO of the company. Guillemot are the ones that are currently running the company. And Ubisoft's founders, by the way, should probably mention that they're also the founders of Ubisoft. And their backers at Chinese juggernaut Tencent. In a letter, Juraj Krupa of Slovakian hedge funder AJ Investments and Partners cites the delaying of future installments of Rainbow Six Division together with a lower revenue outlook for Q2 2024 has caused for shareholder upset, noting that Ubisoft's share price has fallen by over 40%. I knew it was rough there. I didn't realize it was that bad. Since last year, according to Cupra, wants the board to take Ubisoft private or allow it to sell to a strategic investor who will get new air into Ubisoft video games by carrying out a bunch of layoffs. Wait, I read that wrong. Cooper wants the board to take Ubisoft private or allow it to sell to strategic investors who will get new air into Ubisoft video games rather than carrying out a bunch of layoffs. I read that wrong. They're giving the board 60 days to reply. In particular, Cooper is calling for a long-term CEO Yves Guillemot to be given the boot. The main reason why the valuation is so low compared to the peers is that the Ubisoft at current state is mismanaged and shareholders are hostages of Guillemot family and members and Tencent who take advantage of them. The letter reads, management is focused on pleasing investors with beating quarterly results and not focused on long-term strategies to provide exceptional experiences for the gamers. Cooper thinks that the Tencent and the Guillemot brothers holding companies are essentially in cahoots to stop Ubisoft from being acquired by private equity firms such as KKR and Blackstone. With Tencent buying shares in the Guillemot's holdings company in 2022, and Guillemot's then buying more Ubisoft shares to prevent any future acquisition or takeovers that would make Ubisoft operations more effective and agile against its competitors, Agile Investment believes the Tencent and Guillemot family are keeping the share prices low so that they can scoop up shares on the cheap and eventually take full control of Ubisoft. While he doesn't say that it's a deliberate part of its strategy, Cooper suggests that the delay of games is beneficial to Tencent and Guillemot on its account. Essentially, this is huge. What's happening right now is like big scandal. Huge. Basically, he is a partner on the board, and he has like, I believe he's one of the minor holders, like, and by minor meaning that, like, I believe Tencent combined with Guillemot is only 25% of the full like voting power. So like anyone with 50% is just ridiculous. Like there's nobody with 50% ownership of the company. So like essentially what he's accusing him of is that like they are purposely shooting themselves in the foot, and it's kind of easy to believe because Ubisoft's last few releases have been not great, and they haven't been releasing a lot of stuff recently, if you haven't noticed. Development has been really slow, and they've like the last good thing they put out was probably the Prince of Persia game, which is kind of sad because like Outlaws didn't do so well. A lot of games have been delayed, canceled. Beyond Good and Evil, still no word from that. And there's a lot of other franchises they're not doing anything with. And they believe he's saying that this is all being done intentionally because the idea is to kind of continue bringing down Ubisoft so that they can then scoop up more shares on the cheap. Because as he said, they're 40% down, which is huge. That's a lot, man. Like, it's crazy how swingy so many markets are right now in the video game industry. Like, a 40% drop is unheard of in any like like, you want a volatile market? The video game industry has become a volatile market, whether through intention or not. And like, that's crazy. Like, this is some huge scandal crap right here. Like, if this is actually happening. So, let's see what happens here. But he's calling the whole board together to, like, vote. So, it's going to be 75% of the board versus the 25%. And see if Gelmec gets kicked out. There's 60 days on that. That'll be an interesting thing to follow. Following that, we have some PlayStation Plus news. So, PlayStation Plus catalog for September. We have the PlayStation Plus Extra Premium games would be Plucky Squire, PlayStation 5, Under the Waves, PS4, PS5. Never heard of that one. Night in the Woods, PS4 and PS5. Chernobyl Light, PS4 and PS5. Wildcard Football, PS4 and PS5. Space Engineer, PS4, PS5. And Road 96, PS4, PS5. And then we have Ben 10, PS4. And Far Cry 5 for PS4. Really? That doesn't go on PS5? I'm a little surprised. PlayStation Premium and PSVR and Classic will get Pistol Whip for PSVR 2. Secret Agent Clank on PS4 and 5. Sky Gunner, PS4 and 5. Mr. Mosquito on PS4 and 5. And that's the whole catalog for September. Or added to the catalog, I should say. Then we move on to some more interesting news. I actually like this. And it's about time somebody started doing something about this kind of stuff. So, I've never been a fan of this. And maybe neither have you guys. BEUC, an organization, and 22 members have organized from 17 countries submitted a complaint to the EU authorities on the unfair practices of leading video game companies behind such games as Fortnite, EA Sports, FC24, Minecraft, and Clash of Clans. Analysis conclude that the traders breach EU consumer protection laws and call on authorities to ensure that the traders play by the rules and provide consumers with safe gaming environments. The BEUC's alert to the European Commission and European Network of Consumers Authorities exposes how video game industry maximizes consumer spending by using premium in-game currencies. I actually never liked in-game currencies. I think it's really stupid that you just can't go on to, for example, Destiny and buy the goddamn skin for $3. I think it's ridiculous that you have to buy silver to then buy the skin. And then there's always silver left over. And that's kind of what they're getting at here. That basically they're trying to maximize people's spending by forcing people to spend $10 on in-game currency. Meanwhile, they go buy the skin or whatever they want and they only spend $7 or $8. So there's always that $2 sitting there that the company just pockets. And like almost all live service games do that. Like nearly every micro transaction store does this, and it's such bullshit. Consumers cannot see the real cost of digital items, leading to overspending. The lack of price transparency of premium in-game currencies and the need to buy extra currencies and bundles pushes consumers to spend more in-game currencies. Should such be displayed in real money, or at least they should be displayed in equivalents in real-world currency companies, claiming that the gamers prefer in-game premium currencies are wrong. Many consumers find this unnecessary step, leading to prefer buying items directly from the real money. Consumers are often denied their right when using premium in-game currencies tied to unfair items, favoring game developers. Children are even more vulnerable to these manipulative tactics. Data show that children in Europe are spending on average 39 euros per month on in-game purchases, which is nuts. That is nuts. While like $40 a month, holy cow! While they are among the ones playing the most, they have limited financial literacies and are easily swayed by virtual currencies. Augustine Reina, Director General of BEUC, commented, gamers should not need to rely on calculators anytime they want to make an informed decision on how much they want to spend. The money they spend should be displayed in real money. Deceptive practices must be stopped. I 100% agree with this. Go Europe. Like, I think it's complete bullcrap that you have to spend $10 on silver, platinum, whatever they want to call these currencies, V-Bucks, and like at the end of the day, just to buy a stupid skin or whatever cosmetic that they're selling. And then like at the end of the day, it just sits there in the account and you'll never see that money again. I think that's complete waste of money. I think that's just wrong because that's the company's way of trying to pocket more stuff from you than what you're actually trying to spend. It's completely wrong. So like, I really hope that they succeed in this, and I hope the game industry changes for that. Because like they are right about that. A lot of people look at skins and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, it's 500 riot points." Okay, what's 500 riot points? Oh, it's 500. That's not too much. Like a lot of people look at stuff like that, and it's because like it's not the same thing as looking at real money, man. You look at that if you looked at that 500 riot point skin and then you're like, that's $10 for just that skin, you'd probably be like, damn, that's pricey. $10, I can get me like 2 meals at freaking Wendy's. Like, I'm just saying, like, I really hope they go somewhere with this, because this is like complete bullshit that they do this kind of stuff, and it's about time somebody started like doing, like, saying something. Listen, I spend a lot of money in LOL. You spend a lot of money in general, Chad. You really should try to save your money a bit more and just stop buying games for a little while. You have plenty. You have plenty on your plate. Hey, Papa, how you doing, man? Following that news, we have more PlayStation. PlayStation was busy this week. We have a new PlayStation 5 system software update that introduces a number of new features, including Welcome Hub, a new personalized space with customizable widgets and backgrounds in your PlayStation 5 home screen. The Welcome Hub is a reimagined version of the Explorer tab. So, Chad, you're going to be getting that soon. Which was previously only available in the US. It will roll out globally over the next few weeks. Party Share is also another feature, the ability to share party voice chat links on messaging and social media apps will roll out globally in the coming weeks. And additionally, thanks to support from the beta participants, the following features that were tested in the latest PS5 beta will be released globally. Personalized 3D audio profile for headphones and earbuds. Adjust remote play settings per user and choose who is allowed to connect to your PS5 console using remote play. Adaptive charging to your controllers, which is when the controller is in rest mode. The adaptive charging helps to save power by adjusting the length of time the power is supplied to your controller based on its battery life. So, yeah, there's a couple of new features that should be coming your way if you have a PlayStation 5. Anything Hub has the tainted by Pornhub at this point. They should know better. LOL, welcome home. But actually, that might help them though, Papa. That might get more people interested. Following that up, we have sad news. We have more Microsoft layoffs. Microsoft is laying off a further 650 staff from its gaming business, according to the memo sent by Xbox chief Phil Spencer to staff today, on September 12th, I should say, not today. Spencer said that the roles affected mostly corporate and support functions and were made to organize their business for long-term success. He clarified that no games devices or experiences are being canceled, and no studios are being closed as part of this cuts. These latest layoffs mean that Microsoft has let go 2,550 staffs from its gaming business since acquiring Activision Blizzard for $69 billion in 2023. In his memo below, Spencer makes it clear that the cuts were related to the acquisition. So there's a good chance, because of how big Microsoft Blizzard Activision was, how big Blizzard and Activision was, that there's probably a multitude of redundancies and jobs that they don't need, because as Microsoft is also kind of a big company, they probably already had those spots filled. You know what I mean? So, what are you doing, Microsoft? It's tough. It's tough to say, because it's like, imagine you buy... I'm trying to put this in real world perspective outside of games, but like, let's say you live in an office building that has 2 offices, and you buy the office next door, and so that you knock down the wall and you just make a bigger office. But by taking over the company next door, you also take in what they had, so now you also have their business and all their clientele. Well, if you're knocking down the wall, you probably don't need 2 secretaries at the front desk, right? That's kind of what I'm imagining in my head. I'm hoping that's the case. I can understand that a little bit more, but you never know, man. Layoffs is like the current trend. So, it is what it is. If Disney bought Marvel, wait, it did. And I don't follow that news, but there probably was a ton of layoffs there too, Chad. There probably were a ton of layoffs there too. I could only imagine. This is weird but good news for people. Unity is canceling the runtime fee and reverting to their existing seat-based subscription model for all gaming customers, including those who adopt Unity 6. Essentially, if you guys have been following any of this Unity stuff, some time ago Unity decided that, hey, we're going to be charging you X amount of money even if you made the game 10 years ago. Which doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, you made this game with our engine? Well, you're going to be paying us a fee forever, as long as people keep playing that game. And that makes no sense. So they got a shitstorm of like bad press on that and bad feedback, and yeah. Well, they're getting rid of it. Here's what you can expect. Unity Personal, which is the base plan, will remain free, and they will be doubling the current revenue and funding ceiling from 100,000 to 200,000. Essentially, by the way, Unreal Engine 5 has this too. I've been like, some of you may have seen me messing about with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 is also free until you hit $1 million in profit. Unity has that same plan, which is the one I just mentioned right now, Unity Personal. The ceiling used to be $100,000, and then you'd have to pay a subscription fee. Now it's $200,000. So essentially, you can make a game on Unity as long as you never make $200,000. You never have to pay a fee to Unity. You never have to pay anything. No royalties. Following that up, that means that you can keep using Unity at no cost. The made with Unity splash screen will become optional for personal games made with Unity 6 when it launches later this year. Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise will be modified subscriptions. Pricing and the qualifying annual revenue thresholds effective January 1st, 2025 will change as well. Unity Pro, an 8% subscription price increase to $2,200 annually per seat, will apply to Unity Pro. Unity Pro will require a customer with more than $200,000 of revenue and funding. And Unity Enterprise, a 25% subscription price increase will be applied to Unity Enterprise. Unity Enterprise will be required for customers with more than $25 million in total annual refund, revenue and funding. A minimum subscription requirement may also apply. I didn't put it in here, but people who make more than 25 million, which is insane, can get special pricing. They are willing to sit at the table and negotiate. So probably those people probably aren't hurting as much as you think they are. That didn't work out for them. Not at all. Did not work out for them at all. Like, not in the slightest. Then we have interesting news from Annapurna. The entire staff of Annapurna Interactive, the video game publishing division of Megan Ellison Annapurna Studio, resigned this month following a dispute with its owner. Annapurna Interactive president Nathan Gary and his team have been negotiating with Ellison, the daughter of billionaire Larry Ellison, to spin off the video game division into an independent entity. When Ellison pulled out of the negotiations, Gary and the other executives resigned and were followed by around 24 other staffers. All 25 members of the Annapurna Interactive team collectively resigned. Gary and the group said in a joint statement that this was one of the hardest decisions we have ever made, and we did not take this action lightly. Ellison said in a statement in Bloomberg News, "We're committed to not only our existing slate of games, but also expanding our presence in the interactive space as a linear and interactive storytelling across film and TV, gaming, and theater. The exodus has led us to chaos as game development partners with Annapurna tried to figure out what this means for their upcoming projects. As a publisher, Annapurna is responsible for not only for funding the games, but for handling services such as quality assurance, adapting the products for local markets, and marketing. Over the past few days, game makers working with Annapurna have scrambled to find new points of contact and figure out whether the company will continue to honor its agreements." Yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. The whole staff just walked out. The whole staff is just like, fluff this, I'm out, forget it. You don't want to, like, nope. That's crazy. That's just nuts. Then our last bit of news, because I know we're getting close to that time. Just money sponges, yeah, right. Last thing is something really, really cool and interesting. AMD's Jack Huhn, Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Computing Graphics Business Group, commented in an interview about its FSR4, Fidelity FX Super Resolution 4.0. What's particularly interesting is that FSR4 will move to being fully AI-based, and it has already been in development for nearly a year. Jack Huhn on the handheld side said, on the handheld side, my number one priority is battery life. If you look at the Asus ROG Ally or the Lenovo Legion Go, it's just that the battery life is not there. I need multiple hours. I need to play Wukong for 3 hours, not 60. This is where frame generation interpolation come in. So this is the FSR4 that we're adding. Because FSR2 and FSR3 were analytical-based generation, it was filter-based. That's not where the future is going. So we completely pivoted the team about 9-12 months ago to go AI-based. So now we're going AI-based frame generation, frame interpolation, and the idea is to increase efficiency to maximum battery life. That sounds awesome. I am still curious about what that means for PC side. Because on the PC side, I haven't been using it too much. Mainly because it's generating too many frames for games and causing my graphics card to overheat, which is an issue. And again, FSR2 and FSR3 are analytical based, so they're using samples on a database to kind of decide these type of things, and that's not great. An AI-based form of that might be better because it'll take into account your computer, your system specs, and all that other stuff. So maybe it'll actually be better and generate things at 100, 120 if you set an actual target. Where I set an actual target, it's still exceeding it for some reason. So we'll see how this works. I'm still very curious about it because at the end of the day, he's focused on battery life on the handheld side. And the handheld side is kind of where most of their money market is at the moment. I am curious to see what that does on the PC side, because on the PC side you don't have that power problem, so you can feed tons of power into these graphics cards, which is kind of what's happening with a lot of these AMD cards. So, yeah, very very curious. I want to hear more about this. There's a good chance FSR4 might come out later next year if they've been working on it for a year already. I would not be surprised if we have something on the next gen chips. So I'd shoot for June-ish, maybe May. That we get an announcement, I'd say. Possible. I'm really excited for Digital Foundry to jump on this. That's what I'm really excited about. I want to hear what they got to say about that. We still have trailers, but I think we have a little bit of time here. I'm actually going to jump into... Where are these guys at? They're already there. We might have to just jump over already. Yeah, I think we're going to end it there. I will save the trailer for another week. We had a lot of news. I can't believe we just went on for roughly 50 minutes just news. So I guess we're not going to do any trailers for today. We're going to just jump in with them. They're doing their thingies. Well, Cooch has like 5 minutes still. You know what? We'll do a little bit of trailers. We'll do a little bit of trailers while we wait for Cooch to start his thing up. So, let's see here. Try to maximize as much as I can out of this for you guys. I tried to get on a little bit earlier for you guys because I knew this was happening, but let's do this. Let's do the first trailer.
I Want Choo Le Parfum, the new fragrance by Jimmy Choo.
Hey, Red. Cutting-edge fighter jet was stolen from the National Air and Space Museum in Washington. Only the world's greatest thief can stop Vile, and that's you.
For the first time in history, you get to play as Carmen Sandiego. Track thieves as you travel around the world.
What am I doing here? Professional streamer. I totally messed that up. Sorry. Too many things happening at once. I'm not good with the multitasking.
Cutting-edge fighter jet was stolen from the National Air and Space Museum in Washington. Only the world's greatest thief can stop Vile, and that's you.
For the first time in history, you get to play as Carmen Sandiego. Track thieves as you travel around the world. Use state-of-the-art gadgets and gear. Use all of your skills to outsmart Vile operatives. Gather intel, decipher clues, and catch suspects. Get ready to travel around the globe as the world's greatest thief. Learn more at www.carmensandiego-game.com.
It's interesting because that game like reminds me of some of those old school like point and click games that I used to play as a kid.
Peggy 7.
Alright, the next game trailer we have is a game called Super Adventure Cobra.
Peggy 7.
Small little teaser. And the next game trailer is another DLC for Remnant. Yeah, if you played Remnant 2, there's another DLC. Dark Horizon. Next trailer, which is probably going to be our last one here because Kuja's about to start up, is a game called Ender Mongolia Bloom in the Mist. Got a little bit of Hollow Knight vibes on the Hollow Knight platformy side. The interesting thing is it's like Persona. Alright. And that's going to do it for trailers today. We have a bunch more, but I'm going to call it there. I need to go join these guys. They are starting up. So let me go jump in with them right now.